Adepticon with Momentous Struggle. This is going to be round 3 of Heat 1. The mission for this one is going to be Never Tell Me the Odds. Alan's going to be playing the Mandalorian with Bossk and Han and Chewie, along with Lord Maul with Gar and the Super Commandos. That's Gar, Saxon and the Super Commandos. And then James is going to be piloting an Oops All Mandos list, the Mandalorian Bo-Katan with Clan Kryze, and the Armor, Paz Vizsla, and Covert Mandalorians. Let's go ahead and jump on into it. All right, first activation looks like he drew Bo, making it... I don't see there's a reason not to use Bo at this point in time. So not even thinking about it, just going straight ahead.
Yeah, I personally don't play a whole lot of Mandalorians, but I know one thing about the playstyle when I used to play them a lot is my mindset when playing them was, if I pull a Shatterpoint, why am I not going with Bo-Katan? So I can only imagine pulling her as a first card is going to be an incredible choice.
Exactly. So it looks like it is the nice thing of the pull for James here is the center objective is on his side. The side objective is going to be on the top one. It's kind of off screen, not able to see it just because of where the tower is. But yeah, basically going to be right there. Right kind of where blocked by where the tower is and everything. But yeah, that tower has been the bane of my existence today, basically the way the stream is.
That's what I've been hearing.
That's all right. We'll get there.
We may not have the eyes on stream, but we have the eyes around us, so we can narrate you the action that's going on.
Correct. All right. So basically just a move.
Move, jump, take cover, I'm assuming?
It seems like that's what they're going to do there is move, jump, take cover. Looks like you put a hunker token on, and that's just going to be Bo.
And it looks like we're just putting the control tokens, see who's got what.
Right. Just getting the control tokens put out there, and we're good to go. I don't think they need anymore, but here we go. All right, but yeah, so basically taking the 2 points, of course not scoring. Here comes the flip for, and it is going to be Bossk.
Now, I have only played about, I think, 1 or 2 games of Bossk since he's come out.
Right.
I love his activation. I personally don't know how I feel about a first activation.
I don't know if he's exactly where you want to go from the start, but it's, hey, I mean...
Part of his charm is being able to heal everything off unless he's strained.
Right.
Which is, albeit a very devastating move if you can pull it off. But I mean, he has the potential to get something going because he does have that out of activation movement with explosive ordnance.
Right.
Which would be able to get him a little bit further up. Who knows if he'd be able to get into range of anything? Again, never tell. It's just how it works. Those first few activations are pretty slow, but I'm seeing that these teams are there's a lot of mobility in them. It just takes a little bit. Give us a couple activations, and then it's going to be firing squads all around.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like with most of yours. Like the first 2 activations is kind of just getting up into position, unless you have somebody crazy like Iden that can like really throw everybody forward and get a lot of shots off, especially with like, you know, covert operations and things along those lines. Where these guys, they don't really necessarily have that. I mean, you do have the bounty hunters in here. They can on the trail, and if someone's on the center, on the midline, you can definitely, you know, on the trail move, attack, and definitely like pretty much hit just about anywhere you want with a dash move and a regular advance.
Looking like a first action advance. but it looks like decisions are still happening. So
yeah, still thinking through everything and seeing what is going to be the best way to go with this.
Especially since you want to make sure that especially in the early rounds, it's easy to lose some momentum. No pun intended. Easy to lose some momentum if you're not taking those early objectives. So it looks like part of the mindset right now is trying to be able to gather an objective while also making an attack. Get a little bit of best of both worlds.
Ideally, yeah. I think ideally, I mean, that's really where you want to be, is getting to hitting every objective you possibly can, while still trying to score, like to put some attacks, soften up some targets for later down the road, later into the game.
Looks like a first action advance.
I don't know. This one's going to be a tight one.
Does look pretty tight.
I think they've agreed it is going to be an attack. Is going to be in
I'm
range?
seeing a force flip. It looks like we might get the explosive ordnance first.
No.
Explosive charge into bow. So 5 dice attack.
All right, so it is going to do the explosive ordnance. Looks like nothing on that one. All blank skis, unfortunately, for that. But does get the movement that they wanted.
Dash right there. Yeah, that out of action movement kind of got what we needed for the ability to cross the map, make sure we're
Getting all
hopefully contesting something.
should be contesting that point. It looks like it, like from what you can tell from the top-down view there. I mean, we are that he is going to have that.
Looks like it's agreed.
Yeah, scoring 2. All right, so no real damage happening at that point in time, but hey, we're good to go. Looks like it is the Covert Mandos next.
Covert Mandalorians is not as favorable as an early pull, considering they might lose that protection.
Yeah, that's going to be, and it looks like he is going to go ahead and reserve that for one
Spend
force.
for reserve. Got to keep that protection while you can.
Yep, and here comes Mandalorian. Absolutely will have to activate. Looks like he's probably going to try and get up to that center point, which Mando definitely can do.
First action advance, second action take cover.
And then spend a force.
Clan of 2.
Plan of 2 should get right on that point. The point, like I said, is a little off screen, off camera, but definitely like right there. You're going to end up being on that point.
And we'll spam a force for a plan of 2 just to get to the side point.
Yep.
All right, so Mando and Bo have both gone for James. Alan has had basically Bossk looking for his next activation. Is going to be Han and Chewie.
In it for the money.
Well, with Han and Chewie, I mean, he does have a nice juicy target in Bo, far enough forward where they can probably put a couple of shots into her.
A decent chunk. That's another model I haven't gotten a whole lot of activations with myself, but every time that I play against them, they hurt.
Yes.
They hurt very hard.
Yes, Han and Chewie have basically. You definitely understand why they hurt so bad. Like even if you haven't played them, you're playing against them. Like you learn that.
Yeah. I
has been good.
I was just gonna say, I was watching episode 4 again on the way here. It's just, you see it from screen to game. They hurt and they travel very far, very fast.
Yes. Very, very fast. Well, hello, Gregor. So yeah, Han and Chewie already running just right up to the center there with that first move. And now look out, he's loose. To go ahead and get up that egress point. Yeah, so now they're basically the second part of that, only if their engaged goes off. He is not engaged. Lost a dice. So looking into 2 range attacks, I'm assuming he's going with Han first since Han is farther back.
Well, Han shot first.
He does.
We know this.
We do know this. All right, so pretty decent roll. 4 blocks, 1 expertise. Looking like...
As the dice are converted, seeing a lot of results.
Yeah. 3 crits, or 2 crits, 5 hits. So 2 down the tree. Basically knocks out all of those. 2 great rolls by both of them. So only 2 down the tree by Han and Chewie.
That Beskar, I'm telling you, Beskar protects.
3 damage in a shove, it looks like. Yep, 3 damage in a shove. So 3 onto Bo.
3 onto Bo-Katan.
But she does, yeah, she is, yeah, so down to 2 actually, and because she is contesting objective, so she does have protection and steadfast. And that shove will not actually go through. So again, the Beskar armor is looking pretty solid here. So 2, 2, and 2 as far as that goes. That's going to convert to a 3rd expertise and a 3rd crit and 4 strikes, but blocks all of those regular strikes again. But now 3 down the tree.
Keep chunking away.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the beauties. Like that is the bubble that Bo gives you all the time is just amazing. That definitely is something that we've seen on display all day today. Is how solid Bo could be, and 3 damage in a pin, so that's like 4 down to 3, and then so like Bo will be sitting on 5 damage and a pin after that attack by Han and Chewie.
Not a bad activation out of them, especially with such a tanky unit. When contesting an objective, protection, steadfast, not able to move her, but chunk her down a little bit. That's kind of what you want.
Absolutely.
Especially out of a support activation.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like, they're such a solid support. I mean, like, they are worth the 5 points that you're getting in there. All right, so we got Paz going here. Paz is like this is about where you want him anyway. Paz going, putting some shots in. Ooh, that is a pretty rough block right there. Just 1 expertise.
The walking carpet is about to lose some fur.
Right, right. Looks like a total of... Ooh, that's probably going to be the full tree here looking at everything.
This just in, that's a lot of dice.
Oh, yeah, 8 successes. That's going to be 1 block, 7 down, which is going to be the full tree with Paz. Like, well, his expertise is just so good. 1 expertise converting into 3 hits is...
As we in the biz like to say, youch.
Right, exactly. That one was painful. 8 damage, pin, and strain on Han and Chewie by Paz Vizsla. The big man coming up strong.
Well, he does cover the rear, so as soon as his friends get hurt, now's the time for him to clap back.
Co-hosting with me this time is Jake, also known as Stickbug, as you saw Daniel shout out in the chat.
Yes, I showed my face for a brief few seconds.
Yep, he came running
up
when
so
we were
welcome.
starting. Yep. No, that happens. I mean, like, we're jumping in and out here as we get rounds and everything like that. This is the 3rd round of 4 today. Like I said, we'll be back again tomorrow for the 2nd heat of the World Championships. That will be another 4 rounds, and then we will be going to the top 32 on Saturday. After the top 32, as I said before, we will have Will Schick on because Friday is the reveal. If you are not also like looking at Professional Casual, if you're not subscribed to them either on YouTube or on Twitch, or at least following them on those 2, I would highly recommend it because they will be live streaming the reveal, the Adepticon reveal, tomorrow night. So definitely something to keep on. But then, like I said, I will have Schick on Saturday afterwards to kind of talk about all the stuff we got to see.
Cool. Very excited to hear that.
Yep. All right. So we did get a Maul activation here. Looks like Maul just came charging forward. He likes to go see Mando and see what Mando's doing.
Ran up, pulled exposed Mando out of the point, and melee.
So yep, he did what you would always expect Maul to do, which is hurt himself to run forward, hurt himself to pull somebody in.
Move very fast, hit very hard, escape, success.
Yep, adding those multiple dice. Looks like 3 blocks. Mandalorian, that's probably going to turn into two more blocks. Looks like he had a lot of failures there, unfortunately.
He did pull to expose, though, so I believe those expertise are going to be taken away.
That is true. So basically, though, like because of that roll, it's only 2 down the tree on Mando.
That's what you get with the 6 defense dice.
Right.
A lot of odds.
So 5 damage on Mando. Shove reposition, but Mando, like pretty soon here is probably going to start doing a lot of healing and moving around here pretty soon once we start getting some of these wounds showing up.
Yeah. The one thing that I do like about Mando is the ability to cover the entire map while not even on his turn.
Right.
Hyper mobile unit, just as long as the enemy is aggressive enough. And when you see Maul on the other side of the field, you might be in favor of that.
You're definitely you want those. He's going to give you those revenge triggers you're truly looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have Clan Kryze that came up. It looks like you've got to move and just going to put some shots. Looks like right into Maul. Yep. So here comes the attack. That's about the best you can expect for Maul, really. Like 5 blocks on his less defensive side.
Mm-hmm. It kind of seems that they're going just tit for tat on this one objective. It's
3 damage pin shove on Maul. I mean, and he already had 3 on him to begin with from taking all the damage before, so that puts him at 6.
just kind of seems that they're flipping the cards that they need to. I take an objective. I'm going to flip the next card that allows me to take it back.
Exactly.
It's kind of what you expect on Never Tell.
All right, so pretty statistically expected up 4 blocks, though. I mean, again, he's been pretty solid with
Solid.
Blocks everything. Maul's standing up still. So Maul only sitting on 6 damage after 2 attacks into him, and 3 of that he did to himself.
Very classic move out of him.
Yep. But they do go ahead and use their jetpacks to both kind of get up onto that point, and they'll take that point back whether they hurt Maul or not. It's like it's ours now. We're the Mandalorians. All right, next is Saxon.
Saxon. It's funny, I feel like I haven't seen him on the table in a while, but just yesterday I was playing Aubrey. He brought Saxon, and now we see Saxon again.
And we was in one of our earlier games too. There's a lot of Mandalorians out here today, which is pretty cool to see how much we're seeing them on the board.
Their stats seem very consistent, which is
yeah.
a very nice thing. The hardest thing to do against them is hurt them, and that happens to be the one strategy you need to take to do really well against them. So it's exciting to see.
Very exciting, very exciting. But yeah, we're just getting Mandos after Mandos. We're getting tons of them. I do like the suit that Alan is wearing. He's like a plaid jumpsuit type of a thing. It's like something you would expect. He's looking very dapper in his clothing today, so I do appreciate that.
Gar is moving up to take a shot at the Clan Kryze, and again, like I said before, going for that one objective, trying to take it back.
And there's a lot of expertise again, which, in all honesty, this is not the Mandalorians here, so. But he has the Clan Kryze on this one, so yeah, no, it's all sorts of Beskar armor, just doing all sorts of wonderful things here.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 down the tree.
I was about to say, looking like 2. 3 damage, a jump, and a shove. As mentioned prior, that extra mobility is one of the best things that you can get from playing Mandalorians. It seems that you'll get your movement action, but you'll also get lots of extra mobility, whether it be on the tree, out of activation. There's always going to be that one extra jump.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you think we need
All right. And now we have an armor activation. This has been a wild struggle so far. Like, this is just not moving off of the center at all. They've just been going back and forth, back and forth.
If you listen closely in the distance, you can hear the twanging of the anvil. The hammer is coming down.
All right. Looks like basically a full advance here. Looks like a probably hunter and prey is going to happen next, and then just go in for an attack. Try and flip that back point.
Mm-hmm.
Armor's been hitting hard all day today.
If there's one thing that I expect out of the armorer, it's a backline invasion. That's what she does. You all the way across the map. Let's have a chat.
Right. Yeah, she just likes to go charging forward as quickly as possible and just throw some dice into people.
I'd like to introduce you to my friends, the hammer and the tongs.
I think kind of just debating if he wants to use the Force at this point in time or not. I believe he's like already used 3 Force. So
That's
yeah,
a spend. I think that's down to 4 because if you remember, we have a unit in reserve.
correct. Yeah, no. So I'm saying he's now used 4 to do this.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
The
and
objective flips, scores 3, back and forth, and a shatter point for Allen. Decisions. Now is the time to try and wound something or flip a point. But we all know the risk in wounding something against the Mandalorian.
yeah, it just allows him to go wherever he wants.
Exactly.
But one of the things with the bow and her well, and that's on the other side. So he doesn't have like people that have like as many shoves as like Bo and Mando and the clan Kryze do. So that's going to be one of those things that he's probably might be struggling with a little bit as we move like farther into this game, especially with wanting to be sticky on these points, and we're just not as sticky as like you would.
If there's going to be anything that's quite sticky on the points, I'm putting my favor on the Mandalorians just because they have that out of activation. But if you can stack enough pins, those jumps mean nothing. So I see a pretty even duel in what we have going so far.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, like at this point in time, both players are 2-0. They know what they're doing, so we're definitely it's going to be who blinks first. Basically, is really what's going to happen. So Alan's going a little in the tank here, just trying to figure out which is normal for your shatter point, like just trying to figure out what's going to be best for him to do. Yes,
I would
Down
agree.
Buddy. Totally agree with you there.
A very momentous struggle. Any fellow strugglers out there?
Who's out there struggling along with us? That's what we want to know. But yeah, definitely like still like thinking of where to go. I mean, this is
It's a very tough decision because right now at the moment you can think Mando has a bit of damage on him, so you're going to get the full potential out of his revenge trigger. If you can see, if you knock something down, Mando is going to come back with a revenge.
Shatter pointed to Mando.
shatter pointing Mando. I mean, that pretty much makes sense on what you want to do. I don't know why you wouldn't want to shatter point Mando.
Especially since at this moment, Mando has not yet activated. He's stuck in the back of the map. All you need to do is move him up a little bit, get him up there, smack his teacher off that point. Let me take my point back.
That is pretty much what he's wanting to do here. For sure.
Clan of 2 for a 5 dice into the armorer.
Pretty brutal block there. So just 2 going through again.
2 down the tree. Kind of what I usually expect out of Mando. Decent little chunk.
4 damage and a shove is going to be what we get there.
Looks like he's still in melee and is going to go for the second punch.
Yeah, sticking right there. I mean, so looking pretty solid. Trying to sit there and just get armor. Probably pretty much. I mean, you don't think you're going to get a... I don't think you're going to end up getting a wound here, but at least getting maybe another shove will definitely do it. A lot more expertise again. 4 blocks total is what it's going to turn into with those 2 of those 3 expertise turning into 2 blocks. Basically,
that Beskar armor is notorious.
Right, just stopping everything up.
Another 3 and a shove.
So just a total of 6 going on this attack. All right, so yeah.
But as mentioned prior, I'm taking my point back. 1, 2, 3, back and forth, just bouncing over the middle. Nobody has gained that extra momentum from wounding. Nobody's hit the middle. This is what you expect out of Never Tell.
Exactly.
But then, as soon as you draw that first strike, I'm expecting a lot.
And for those that are on stream, sometime later today we will be doing... Oh, Shatterpoint here.
Shatterpoint out of James.
So he mulls over the decision. Later today, I have been told by Atomic Mass Games that we are going to have every day being able to do a giveaway. Everything on the prize wall will be getting mailed out by Atomic Mass Games to one viewer today, tomorrow, and Saturday. So at some point during the day, if you are in stream, we will definitely be having some sort of a giveaway to get that. And then all you have to do is just reach out to me and provide me with a mailing address. They do want to try and keep this United States local, but if you are a watcher in the United States and are interested in that, by all means. Probably going to be in sometime during round 4, since I just found out about this. Give people a time to make a little bit of an announcement and stuff.
Makes me jealous of being a viewer.
Yeah, I struggle to paint quite a bit myself.
Shatterpoint's going back to Mando.
Back-to-back Shatterpoints. I mean, Aubrey would have been losing his mind if he was here. He did get his lunch break though, so that's
2 damage into the Super Commandos.
2 damage into the Super Commandos.
They're just not hitting as hard as you would have expected in so far.
Sometimes, well, you got to remember, we can't talk about the odds of the dice. It's in the mission pack.
That is true. We can't talk about the odds. And just a little bit of movement going on over here to kind of get this to where we're going.
Clan of 2 gets used to take a Gar off of that top point. Score 3, back and forth.
And here come the Super Commandos now.
They know the name of the game. Whoever gets that first wound might see a little more in their favor.
Right. And that's kind of where we've been going back and forth. No wounds. We still have not seen any momentum going onto the struggle tracker at all yet. It's been just light punches so far. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where this goes from here.
Like I said earlier, it's just kind of back and forth. It's I take your objective, you take mine. Every single activation. They know the name of the game, and the name of the game is objectives.
Right. I think that's one of the things that like sometimes people forget in this game is that it is about your placement and the objectives, not necessarily about the damage and the wounds that you're putting out. Yes, that can be good, but this isn't like some games where you can just attrition your way to a victory by removing models. You really need to control the objectives no matter what.
Todd, I hear you, but rolling dice is fun.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I say as I run a lot of Jedi who can force push people off, where I don't have to roll a dice, I just say goodbye.
Exactly. That's the easiest way to do it, is just like push that away.
It's especially my favorite way to deal with people like Bo-Katan, who can put off such an incredible, powerful bubble, is just displace them off the point and get things moving. Super Commandos are going to move up, take some attacks into the Clan Kryze Mandalorians.
3 fails there is kind of brutal, but again, nothing goes through. That one expertise turning into 2 blocks with the Beskar. Oh, well, that was going to be a little painful there.
Now, as we in the biz like to say, yikes.
Yeah, a lot of fails there, but I mean the dice roll wasn't ideal. I mean, it really only getting 4 successes. He had a lot of failures in there. The 2 expertise only turned into 1 hit.
Todd, I thought you were commentating not rolling the dice.
Exactly.
This looks too familiar.
That does look like a roll that I would typically do, but not what you like to see, folks. Yeah, really not. You're right. It is not about any type of damage unless you have Iden there. Iden is the damage output. I mean, but you would expect to see some more damage, I guess, with Maul on the board. And he's just not. The Maul activation was not what we expected.
Sounds like they have been wounded.
Oh, Sam's still using the water bottle he won last year, so cool. Yeah, last year Adepticon gave us some cool swag to give away on stream. I'm not sure if they're planning again. I mean, we were very thankful that they were able to give us some stuff to give away, but yeah.
I still need to go grab my tumbler.
Yeah, that's the one thing. There's so much cool stuff that you can end up like just swag and merch that you can get. So like that's one of the fun things.
The dad jokes are out in force, and I hope that pun was intended.
Alrighty. So it looks now like the Covert Mandos have been pulled, and they had their activation. Now it's back to the Mandalorian.
Do gotta say, I think we got full use out of that reserve, making sure they stayed protected the whole time. Very helpful.
Right.
They do an activation, get shuffled directly back into the deck, making sure that they have protection the entire time.
And we're still in Struggle 1 and have not made it, and they've already made it through their entire order deck on both sides.
Seems like they had forgotten to add one for the wound. They had landed in the middle, each person got a momentum, and Alan had made a wound onto the Super Commandos in the last activation.
Makes sense.
3/4 still in his pool as Mando is a final activation of his deck before getting reshuffled. Decisions are happening. And if there's one thing that I know about the Mandalorian activations is that he can get a lot of pieces moving, including himself. Get a full move action. Got your Clan of 2, which can either be a force push or an additional 5-die attack. So the amount of times that you can affect other models on one turn with his activation makes him a very scary model to have as the last card in your deck.
Yes. It's wild to see how much play he's seeing, because I remember when we flew into Adepticon last year, as we were getting off the plane, like while we were in the air is when they revealed him pre-Adepticon. So now, like, just coming full circle, seeing how much play he's getting, he is like the most brought model today. It's like, it's amazing.
And I remember that when I saw him, I was still on a very big Republic binge on what I was playing, playing a lot of Luminara at the time, and I had almost no interest, which is really ironic considering how well him and Luminara can work together as a pair today.
Exactly. All right, so there's all sorts of stuff just going on in this bottom point over here. They're really, and that's, I think, gonna kind of happen as you stay in a struggle for a very long time. Like, you just start to really get grouped up into certain points and stuff like that. Because there's like, you look at the back left point on Alan's side. Yep, a force push as it is. There's like nobody around that point where you have 4 models all around this bottom point on the bottom right. So it's interesting to see kind of like what happens as the struggles go on when you're stuck in a struggle for as long as these guys have been stuck in a struggle. I mean, we're roughly 45 minutes into the round at this point in time, so.
If there's one thing that I know about Nevertell, the first struggle is either up until the mission critical timer or it's 12 minutes.
Right.
There's no in between. If you don't have the mobility to deal with this map, then best of luck to you.
and like all the primaries that we have here definitely have the mobility to get all over the place on this for sure. I mean, you have like, and you look at your supports, Han and Chewie, the supers, they all have additional ways to sit there and move themselves. They have to cost a force. Yep, the X-Wing guys are going full out over here, having a good old time. And you'll hear that from time to time with all of us that are in the hallway here. All right, 2 fails, 2 expertise, or 1 expertise and 2 blocks. A lot of expertise on Alan's offensive roll, though, and his attack roll. It's probably more than he was wanting, because that's just way too much. So basically just the 2 crits going through. And that's been kind of like the story of this game so far, is like a lot of just 2 successes of either primaries.
3 damage to 2 because they're in the deck.
3 down to 2.
So only 2 damage on the Covert Mandos here, because they are in the deck, because he just refreshed his deck. So taking full advantage of that.
Like I said, that reserve helped keep them protected for most of that early time. Then, right as the deck flips, they're back in there. They don't have to worry about not having protection for very long. If there's one thing that I know when I see coverts on the board, if they get activated early, I'm taking them out as quick as possible.
Yep.
So that protection keeps them alive for very long.
All right, so he reveals Paz, puts Paz into reserve. Or wait, he's debating, because this would be his. He just refreshed his horse. Yep, went ahead and put him in reserve. And Shatterpoint. So yeah, I got to go in the tank a little bit here again.
When you're down on momentum, but you're ahead in score, it makes it a very difficult time, especially when you're pulling your Shatterpoint. You got to maximize your decision making. Looks like the Shatterpoint is going into the Armorer.
Yeah, so Shatterpoint into Armor is a pretty solid move here. It gives you more movement, which I think we've beaten that one to death, that is the key to this one here. But yeah. And Iden is a good control list. I mean, controlling by like not having your enemies be able to do anything because they're all hurt and dead. Yeah, Sam is like one of the few people from the Zion's Finest podcast I have yet to meet. So it'll be nice to finally get you out to an event at some point in time. I'm almost on your side of the country for a change, and he still couldn't make it out.
I've yet to meet a lot of people. This is new for me.
Like he's in school or something, and too busy to sit there and be a nerd like the rest of us.
I enjoy my nerd time, okay?
6 damage to Han and Chewie on this attack by the armor. So there's the armor that we all know and love.
I mean, we've seen it in the show. If you look really hard, you can see how much damage that does to the stormtrooper armor that Han is wearing.
Right, exactly. That is very true. So I believe that does wound them. Yeah, so that wounded him. He hasn't quite put the momentum out there yet, from what I can see. They've been having a hard time remembering that. So let's see if he remembers here in a second. I mean, that is a game state thing that they absolutely have to do. Flip the point, and there we go. He remembers to put that momentum on now, moving right up to that momentum. So it looks like we're getting close to the end here, unless Alan can really make a turn for it.
When I see the board state in a position like this, I usually start setting up for the next objective.
Yeah, I mean, like that. Sometimes it's like, when is the right time to do that? I mean, and hopefully, like for most players, they should end up knowing. Not necessarily when the time is to do that, because that is something that each person kind of has to learn on their own, and like what works for them and their play style. But more along the lines of, if this is the mission, where are the points going to be? Where is it most ideal for me to sit there and go? And also, what's the best model for me to sit there and have available going into Struggle 2? Because here he pulls Han and Chewie, and Han and Chewie is a very impactful model. Would it be worthwhile to reserve Han and Chewie here, or to go ahead and put them and play them and try and do something else with the amount of point that you wanted to? In a situation like this, you might be willing to.
Got to give it back to him.
Might be willing to work on look at that so that you have them available, and that's exactly what he thought. He ended up putting them into reserve and going with Gar.
If I were in that same position, I think that's what I would like to do as well. Considering it's a 2 model activation, that means you have a lot of impact that you can do. 2 models on 1 activation means you can get a lot of objective play, but also it's a very good model to reserve, considering that they were just wounded, which means at the moment they're not an optimal target to be targeted, and they're right in the middle of the field. So that means that next activation that they get, they can work on hooking themselves up into a better position.
Yeah. So I'm over here opening up the box of the I Am No Jedi Dual Pack box, and I'm getting some deep looks of love and affection from the judge crew over here. I think they're going to try and give me a little love to try and steal something of mine. I don't know. I got to watch my back now. I'm feeling a little unsafe.
Do we want to unpack that, or do we want to just let you sit in that one for a second?
You can unpack that all you want. No, I know what I said.
We don't need to worry on unpacking that. You're already unpacking the box. We'll focus on that unpacking.
That's fair. That's fair. Oh, but I love that the cards for Fulcrum are foil, so it is kind of some beautiful cards here.
I got this hat just for the Fulcrum reveal. I was very excited.
Nice. So yeah, well, on stream, I'm looking at probably not going to do the build, while we're here, at least not build the actual display, but just the models.
Sounds like Gar Saxon is focusing and shooting into the Mandalorian.
Makes sense. That's kind of what he does with that sniper rifle of his. A lot of attacks into primaries this game, which is, I mean, I guess softening up Mando is probably something you could do.
All of that to get 2 down the tree. That's kind of what you expect against Mando.
Right, and that's...
Down to 3 damage and a shove.
So many beautiful pieces of plastic that have
So
shown up.
excited about your plastic that you can't even really worry about until later.
I know, right? I should be paying attention to this game and everything like that.
Well, I just more mean that there's not much we can do about it at the moment.
Well, I do have someone that brought me snips and glue.
Snips and glue. I feel that's very topical considering you're talking about Ahsoka.
Right. But yeah, not a whole lot going on here. Like looking at, James is really kind of debating whether he wants to go ahead and pull it. He's going to pull Paz out of reserve now.
Mm-hmm.
So it is pretty interesting looking at, there actually is there's 4 bases total that go along with this. So that's pretty cool that you have the alternate, like multiple bases to go onto the models here. So I like it. I like multiple bases, multiple heads available.
I think the extra bases are for if you decide to build the diorama.
Correct.
You can then replace the models off the diorama and just have that sit there while you're out playing with your little plastic toys.
Correct. Yeah, so that's something that they have done in other like MCPs. Like if you go and get, say, Thanos's box in MCP, he has 2 bases that you can utilize.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the same idea here, is able to do that. All right, so Paz is doing some stuff. Lots of attack dice getting rolled here.
Well, I mean, you would hope to see a lot of attack dice when you're carrying a gun that large.
You would think so. And again, that expertise is just amazing, turning into 3 hits. But it really only 4 strikes, blocking everything. Just not a lot coming out of Paz on this one. So nothing out of that attack at all. Kind of a little lackluster, a little unfortunate for James there. I think he was really hoping for a lot more out of that attack. I know I probably would have been.
Yep, at least he takes the struggle.
He does. I think that was kind of just an anticipated that he was going to do that, though. I don't think we expected him not to at this point, just because of where he was in that position. So now it's time to see. We've been able to go 3 struggles every time so far. Now it's time to see if Alan can really get back into it with us here. Alrighty. So yeah, they're just getting everything marked up here as far as where the priorities are and everything. So
figuring out where priority objectives are. And this is where it starts to kick in what I mentioned at the very beginning of the game. You need that mobility because the entire battlefield has just shifted.
Exactly. So yeah, but now there's nobody on that top point at this point in time. The one where the expertise spot is. Granted, looks like you rolled a shield, the block symbol. So there is somebody on the block symbol at this point in time.
And that's Chewie, which this is where I mentioned putting them in reserve earlier was a perfect choice because it made them a non-factor on an attack. And now they get to wake up as part of the new struggle, and they're already standing on and contesting an objective. So now they get to put in a lot of work and could actually have a pretty impactful activation here.
Yeah, because Han and Chewie just can get anywhere they want to go as well. They just move everywhere. And like looking at the bottom where the fail symbol is, looking at that, it doesn't look like might just be just out of range 2 on the bottom there.
Mm-hmm.
So that spot is up for grabs. So it looks like there's two different positions that are potentially up for grabs. 4 blocks and 2 fails. So it's pretty straightforward defense roll here.
Chewie is taking a ranged attack into Bo-Katan.
Doesn't do a whole heck of a lot here. So the 3 get blocked.
Beskar armor.
Crit. It wasn't he? That was just his regular roll. That was just his regular roll. So yeah, just one down the tree here with just that 1 expertise. And it looks like he's probably trying to figure out what he wants to do with Han now, because that was Chewie taking that shot into Bo. But again, I think it was...
And then Han's taking a shot into the armorer. He's a little angry that his Stormtrooper armor got cracked, so now he's going to crack her back from a distance with a gun.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah. Hey, we're getting there.
All right, so 1 crit. Looks like 5 strikes. The crit gets mitigated down, so basically 3's going to go through here. Armor has a little bit of damage on her at this point in time. I think she's sitting on, I want to say, 4 damage? It basically does another 4 damage, so that's going to put armor at 8.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, with this piece of terrain, I really like the display of this one. I think I'm going to enjoy putting some paint on the I Am No Jedi dual pack terrain. I think it's going to be a really cool display piece for the people that want to use it for a display piece.
I'm very excited to make it a part of one of my shelves.
Yeah, I will say the one that came in Vader and Obi-2, I didn't use that. I still haven't painted that one up. But this one, I mean, I think more than anything though, this is really a storyline that I really like. That when Ahsoka came back and ends up running into Anakin.
Yeah.
It was such a good storyline in Rebels that I think I'm just drawn to this piece of terrain.
I love it.
Right.
I love it. So before playing Shatterpoint, had not actually seen Rebels, and I started watching it once the first time that they had revealed that the Spectres were being made into models for the game, and I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. I grew up watching Clone Wars. I absolutely loved it, and then finally sat down and watched Rebels and said, why did I not watch this sooner?
Yeah, it's amazing that so many people haven't watched it. So
yeah, it's very, very good.
Great.
Fell in love with it very quickly.
Absolutely, yeah. And how can you not? All right, so we have a Mando pull here, and this could be a little dangerous here for Alan, depending on how James wants to go about playing this one. Mando's always always be a very impactful activation with how it can just impact 2 points. The problem being here, there's really they're so spread out.
Mando going into the Super Commandos here.
Super
Beskar armor.
Beskar armor. It's amazing stuff, man. So really just 1 success again. That's kind of been the story of this entire match, is just Beskar armor stopping people from doing things.
It's a back and forth of them constantly working on smacking each other down, but it's also they're all wearing some of the heaviest armor in the galaxy, so
right. Yeah, so it's just one through, 2 through, 1 through, 2 through is really like what we're seeing a lot of. And we are about an hour in at this point in time, so I think they're starting to move a little bit of a shove here. Give them just a little nudge in the right direction or the wrong direction, depending on who you're talking to.
At that point, you could just say, shoved in the direction.
Shoved in the direction, he says. Yeah, and James kind of here just figuring out how much damage he's got on him, so... Alan kind of taking a look at what's going on, because he did end up pulling his Shatterpoint card again.
Yeah, big decisions to be had here.
So yeah, and this is, I mean, he's really got to make a lot of... They ended on 0. Is there a reason why Alan didn't get the momentum for ending on 0 there?
might have just been a
Oversight there.
oversight that they'll quickly get fixed.
Izzy. Momentum for Allen. They landed on 0. All right, we got one and got that one fixed. Again, that is a game state thing that just automatically happens. We have to.
Sometimes it's easy to oversight simple stuff like that when you're thinking about such an important decision, especially on a Shatterpoint flip in a game where you're now down 1 struggle.
Right.
Game is best of 2 or 3. You need to be able to get that point back so that way you can still have a chance to get this one in your favor.
Correct. I mean, and like we were saying in the last game, I mean, you're both here at 2-0. 3-1 will probably get in, but you're going to have to rely on tiebreakers to get into the top 16 in some cases. You're not guaranteed at 3-1. At least we don't know where you are right now. Possibly, but we don't know for sure. But if you aren't guaranteed at 3-1, that means if you go 2-0, if you lose 0-2, that can easily just take you right out of being able to qualify because of the struggles, not getting those those victory points. So it may not. He might not win, but at the same time, he really has to focus on getting that down, this struggle here, so it's not putting himself in that bad position.
Shatterpoint has been chosen to activate the Super Commandos.
Interesting decision. I mean, and sometimes, like, there's a lot of times. I mean, I will use my Shatterpoint to activate supports quite frequently. Like in my Maul list, in my Scoundrels list, I use them on the bounty hunters a lot because, I mean, on the trail, focus, pay to sit there and give them sharpshooter 2, impact 2. Okay, now I'm rolling 7 dice, and I full tree with them all the time.
Well, on top of that, this is never tell me the odds. I haven't taken a look at what mission in particular they're looking at right now, but there's a chance that it could be challenging the odds with supporting units. And if that's the case, they walk up, they get a wound. Right now, he looks like he's in a favorable position to spend that extra force and pull this in his direction.
Right.
And we know that if he decides to pull that force, it's not going to land in the middle, so it can only be a favor to him.
Correct. I mean, and he already owns the other 2 points. So if he is able to flip the top right point over there, where the expertise is, all of a sudden you're scoring 4 points here. Scoring 4 points with a move the momentum, and then you're right up against it. At that point in time, ready to win this struggle. So it is very important to sit there and try and take this action here.
A melee attack into the Mandalorian himself.
Okay, so 2 blocks, 2 expertise on that. It's going to turn into 4. He has 2 crits. That's going to turn into just another crit. So unless he's got crit mitigation, I don't believe Mandalorian does.
Mando does have crit mitigation.
Oh. See, I don't play him enough.
I had to learn this as a Hondo player.
Fair enough.
Looks like he's taking 4 damage and a strain.
All right, now here comes the other attack with the... All right. Pretty brutal here. Like, it looks like 3 and then 2 blocks, 1 expertise. So pretty brutal. Nothing goes through, though. So, I mean, it's been the story of the day, man, of this particular round.
It's that Beskar armor. There's no sabers to cut through it. There's not a lot. It's kind of just plink damage back and forth until someone gets a wound, and then a lot happens.
Yeah.
I kind of saw that from early plays going on in this, where it was just shot to dink, and just a lot of plink damage going on.
A lot. And we got coverts here again. The priority point is already the point that James owns, so he's scoring 2 here right off the bat.
So now the decision goes to what point can I steal?
And to look, I mean, the easiest one probably is going to be the bottom one where the failure is. That looks like it's probably going to be the best place to sit there and do some some stealing, but it looks like he's going north here. Maybe west. I guess I say west. It's to the left, so he's going
Camera west, table north.
I don't know how I realized it. No, that's not even. That's east. Like.
It is moving in a direction. Consider it one of the 4 cardinals.
And that is brutal right there. 5 down the tree.
Brutal.
Here's where that they're finally getting some attacks going through.
Now, one of the big things about the Mandalorian that makes him so powerful is that he's always when one of your allies is wounded, he gets to heal 2 and reposition, which keeps him a very tanky unit, always moving across the board. Now, if you wound him, that becomes a lot less powerful because he's not going to be able to swap back and contest objectives as often as he wants. That sounds like the Covert Mandos just one-shot the Super Commandos.
Okay. So there's another momentum. This, man, it's
a lot of Beskar on Beskar crime happening right now.
And everything seems to be coming up James right now. It really does.
Mm-hmm. And the second attack is going into Bossk now. Nice thing about this is that they do have strain on their tree, so if they're able to get a good amount of damage onto Bossk, that means once he activates, he's not going to be able to take it all off. And just like that, 4 damage and a strain on Bossk, making that recovery a little bit harder to use. Back in the middle, both players gain a momentum. Priority goes to the block.
Why? Yeah, I mean, it's just the back and forth. I mean, but you're really, like, for Alan, you're really hoping he can just kind of break the parity that seems to be happening here. But it feels like he just keeps a little bit more every single time. So
I've played games like this where it just feels like I'm on the back foot the entire time, but you just need to have that one break that's able to help you out. And it seems at the moment he has not been able to get that. But who knows, that next card flip could give it to him.
Right.
Next card reveal is Bossk. It looks like the decision is being made on if he wants to activate or not. As just mentioned, Bossk did just get strained, so that means he can't recover the damage that was just put on him. So putting him in reserve right now might be a good call, but decision is up to the players and not to me.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's what what Alan is contemplating right now is how is this going to impact this if I can do that. But he's got to find the most impactful activation he can possibly have at this point in time.
From the sounds of it, we are asking Bossk to save the day.
I mean, that is what you would ask of any lizard man that you ran into in a hallway one day. You know, like, hey, sir, I need you to save the day. All right. So it looks like he's just going to just try and see if he can choose a little bit of violence with Bossk here.
From the sounds of it, he's going to try and use that explosive ordnance, see if he can take out Mando.
I mean, he's been trying to put everything he can into Mando. Mando's been sticking on that point all struggle long and just has not been able to do anything about that.
Interesting choice here. He's deciding to use the ability. He did not recover the strain first, so he's going to eat the strain, take 3 damage. Bossk is now sitting pretty low on health at the moment. But this could be a pretty big turn.
If it works in his favor. Look,
Oh,
no damage on it.
nothing.
That I think that's the second time we've seen that from Bossk.
In my Spectres list, I personally don't play Callus. I always play Sabine. She's one of my favorite characters. With that said, I know what it's like to try and roll expertise.
Right.
It does not happen as often as you need it to.
Yeah, I mean, you're statistically, it's just a 25% chance. You know, so like you're really you're hoping to spike something, and it's like I struggle with wanting to hit a 25% chance per dice to sit there and do something.
Well, see, if you say it that way, but if you think in a growth mindset, instead of saying a 25% or a 2 in 8, you can say it's a 1 in 4 chance. And 1 in 4 is a lot smaller numbers than 25 out of 100, and it makes me feel better about the odds. But again, this is a game of never tell me the odds, so you shouldn't be talking to me about these numbers.
Oh, that would have been time to nerd. That would have been a good play, like Payday, to set off the strain, then recover all damage. Yeah,
At the moment, it looks like he's down to just 1 force, so that would have put him into having no force if he decided to Payday that way.
Yeah, and he does have multiple cards still left in his order deck. So I don't think that would have been the way that he would have wanted to go with that.
By my eye, it looks like 2, but
And
last
now a range.
stitch effort into Mando. We're taking a range attack.
And the attacks just not have gone Alan's way all day on this one.
At the end of the day, this game is about dice and it is about cards. So if we know one thing about those, it's that it is always a chance.
And here we go again. Alan, like just 2 successes. His rolls were pretty good, but that mitigation and the Beskar armor kind of like reducing everything that needs to. So 3 damage and a strain to Mando. Mando does get wounded here. He does gets
It's
the
impactful
momentum.
to the strategy.
But only having 1 point here is
rough
going to be
stuff.
kind of painful. So it is on the block. The 1 point that... No, he does have this point. The only one he doesn't have is the failure. So right off the rip, he's going to be scoring 3 points. You know, so there's quite a bit going on.
Decisions are being made. Card pulled is Clan Kryze. So the activation is happening. It's like a little bit of mobility moving back towards his table edge, taking some shots.
And I just wanted to double check it is the secondary unit that is going to be for challenging the odds.
And Clan Kryze are taking some shots into the walking carpet.
So Bossk being a secondary, he could have used his last force there to move that struggle just a little bit more. Might have been worthwhile.
Potentially, but let's say in the off chance that he doesn't roll his own objective for the priority roll.
Right.
He's only scoring 2 points. That lands him back in the middle, therefore getting each player momentum. So yes, it could be favorable for Alan, but it's also giving an additional momentum to his opponent, making that a very risky move. This is partially why most of the teams that I play on Nevertell, I almost never challenge the odds, and I play pure mobility. But that's, again, each player has their own way of approaching each mission, and I have been playing a lot of Nevertell, but as of recent, I've walked away from it because I'm not utilizing that piece of it as much.
3 damage to Han and Chewie, and we did get to see exactly what the Clan Kryze Mandalorians love to do here, which is basically just shove them. They did shove them back twice, completely off the point.
This attack was going into Maul.
And this attack is going into Maul. Looks like just 2 go down. That was a good block. My defensive dice with Maul never are this good.
Yeah, what's that?
I don't know
So,
what this is like at all.
I just need you to analyze those square dice real quick. What is that symbol? Can you give it a definition, or do you?
I've
is
never
it
seen that
unfamiliar?
before. That does not look
unfamiliar
familiar
to
to me at all. No, I only see the cracked almost square thing, and then the expertise. That's all I ever really see. So I don't know what that symbol was.
Second Clan Kryze attack, left
Maul alive on 2. Okay. Definitely hard there, but yeah, I mean, so here we go, looking again for Allen's really got to make a move if we want to keep this on the failure, the one that he owns at least. So he is going to score 2 here, but if he doesn't get a turn at flip another point, it's still going to stay on James' side, and that's not really good for
Less
him
than
at all.
favorable.
Without a doubt, and he did pull Mando here.
We know Mando can make some moves, but the risky thing is Mando has to make the move. Mando's taking attack into coverts at the moment. He has a lot of impact here. He can either make 2 attacks, he can push something off a point. He has the mobility to make something happen, which is what we need.
And Allen is staring at 3 blocks. Looking pretty decent here. Pulling out the failure, so he has a crit 5 hits. So 3 down the tree is not too bad, especially when you're going into a secondary.
When I've played Mando, I don't know anything past the first 2 on his tree, so seeing 3 down the tree is crazy.
Yeah, 5 damage here is pretty solid.
5 damage and a shove. Did you know Mando could do 5 damage?
Again, I don't play him much, but again, my dice don't let me go very far down the tree.
I realize this. So here's a story time. The first time that I ever met Todd and we played a game, we both decided to take a picture of this roll because Dooku was attacking one of my Bad Batch members. 9 dice, 8 failures.
Yep.
It was incredible. A statistical anomaly. It was beautiful. For me,
it was beautiful. Yes.
For me, it was beautiful.
And all I could do was just laugh and pull out my camera to take a picture because it was so sad.
And as soon as I saw him taking a picture, I knew that meant I had permission. So.
All right. Yeah, he didn't get to his side of the struggle tracker of 0 here. So I'm not feeling very, very confident for Allen right now. He needs a big shift to happen. So really,
if I'm not mistaken, all he needs is 4 points to win this struggle.
So he either needs to flip the bottom point or get a wound somewhere, whatever the easiest, juiciest target is for him, and that'll be it, man. So we'll see.
I mean, this is a classic case of a reminder. This game does work on dice, and my brother and I play this game all the time, and if there's one thing that our family has known is that my brother has ungodly dice luck. I've never seen so many 12s rolled on 2d6 in my life. That said, when it comes to Shatterpoint dice, Todd and I share a very familiar story. Whenever I'm playing against my brother, I share quite similar dice to Todd. So, all that said, in this current game, this has been a moment of sometimes the dice are just not in your favor. You can see the skill of these players. That first struggle, it was just back and forth, each flipping their own point. Dice were on point, and then it's not that their game plans haven't worked out. It's just it seems that they're always just one result short of what they're expecting or hoping to get.
So armor's going into Paz here. A lot of dice going in there. So basically, did expose Paz. So basically just one block. I think this might do it. So that was just a horrible roll for Allen. I mean, it's like these just over and over he's been seeing this.
There's armor into Bossk.
Oh, Bossk.
I got mistaken for this is what happens with some of these character being mirror matches and names being similar. It's easily mistakable sometimes, but
and that is
there's a handshake that looks like it's game.
That was quite the match by James, taking that down pretty handily 2-0 with the Oops All Mandos list that he was piloting. So yeah, just a good strong showing by James there. Thanks again for watching, and keep on paying attention for all of these videos that we have coming. So like, subscribe, hit that bell, all that good stuff, and just keep on waiting. We've got more coming for you. Thanks for watching, and as always, may the force be with you.